Welcome to Pendragon Salisbury. The year is 502. It is the fourth session, and we are back to resolve some crazy internal conflict in Logres. We're going to start with Thomas. There might be some weird mixtures of tokens and names. So just go ahead and announce the people you might play today, because that's what Anarchy looks like. We'll start with you, Thomas.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I may be playing Sir Edrich of Winterbourne Stoke, Marshal of Salisbury, and the person who orchestrated this war and then got knocked out in the drive up to it. So from then, I was playing and may play Sir Blethant, who is the sworn knight of the Baron of Axe, who then got fully bodied. And I might also be playing Sir Cynstenian the Blessed of Winterbourne Stoke.
That's a good summary. Good summary. All right, we will continue to Mark.
Hello, I am Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, and today I will probably be playing Sir Florence of Idmiston and the previously mentioned Barony of Axe. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do some cleanup of our recent conquest, and I may or may not be doing some traitorous things in the meantime.
That sounds about right. And last but not least, we have Liam.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Liam. I'm going to be playing Sir Perin of Durnford. Also currently known as Sir Percy, also currently known as the Black Dog. Probably going to be doing some scandalous shit. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right, and for those that are watching, you might be familiar with Pendragon 6 because it's out now. We are still on 5.2. We do have full intention of cutting over to version 6 for the Boy King era. Hopefully there's a bit more done and ready, including the GM guide, out by that time, so that we don't have to hack as much of the old system into the new system to make it work. If we do that, we're very versed in that because we're hacking old versions into the new version, or 5.2 version anyways. So, all right,
don't ask us which version we're playing exactly.
Yeah,
we'll give you a couple different answers.
Yeah, between version 4 and version 6. Yeah, depending on the session and the phase of the moon. So, all right, we're gonna start with Percy, or Perin as it is, and we shall start with you arriving at a war camp. Over the screen, we see the title, and it says Warrensis. In the distance, you see the banners of Nanteleod as you approach. Now, I just want to kind of give you a quick recap, and probably the audience. The Black Dog has committed to negotiating a mercenary contract with Escavelin, King Nanteleod from Wales, the now invading Logres king, who threatens / will be saving Logres from the evil Saxons. We'll see how that works out. All right.
Look, we're all in favor of saving from the evil Saxons. We're all in favor of this.
Indeed. Well, I step away for 3 seconds to stop the wind from blowing my door open over and over again. Do you want to give us some flavor on Perin's entrance here?
Yeah. Perin's traveling with a small retinue of some of his best guys. Many of them have iconography of the black beasts. And as they ride, Percy himself has kind of got this black chain, like it's iron chainmail that's been kind of tweaked a little bit with it's probably steel still. It's been tweaked a little bit, painted to be a darker shade, and he's got these nice red banners that come with him. As he kind of makes his way over, he'll ride up ahead to greet the party ahead of him.
All right. They will respond in in peace to the parley, but there is most certainly a defensive guard as this unknown group begins to approach them, that being your entourage. Anything in particular you want to do as you approach?
No, I don't think so. I think he's learned enough times ambushes suck, so probably have a runner ready just to make sure that we've got an escape route in case we get ambushed. But otherwise, I think they're a traveling mercenary group. There's no reason to attack them.
Okay, so as you ride forward, they send a small group out to parley with you. You see a handful of knights. For two of them, I will give you a choice. You may do heraldry or recognize.
Interesting. Let me see what my odds are on that. I'm feeling recognize. Heraldry not good for me.
Okay. I will give you a +3 to both of these.
Right. And then am I rolling two separate ones or just one?
Two separate ones.
Success. Feeling good. And another success.
Okay. You see the two that lead the parley is Sir Elaine, who originally escorted you out to all the way out to Estragales when you went all those years ago. Your only time really in Gales. It was your sort of guide, as it were.
Yeah. Let's hope this guy doesn't recognize me.
The other one is Sir Locke, the brother of, or second son of the King Cannon, who you guys watched die.
That's right. I remember this guy. Yeah.
That's a bit older than last time you saw him.
Have they solved their issue over here? Were they having a power struggle?
No. We solved
That's
the
right.
power struggle, and then
they had another power struggle. The guy we protected is dead.
Yeah.
Or he's not around anymore.
Make an intrigue roll.
Oh, you spoil me, Bob.
Yes, you've heard that after the king died, eventually King Nanteleod stopped paying tribute to the new King Edrich, who was the son of the late king who was poisoned, at which the two went to war and Escavalon was victorious. So now it seems that the Irish from Estragales are now subjects of Escavalon and not the other way around. So they bow the knee to Nanteleod. Yeah.
I put a lot of work into king making. Damn you, Nanteleod.
Percy will ride up and wave and go, "Hail! It's good to see some friendly faces out here."
I am going to test something. I'm going to give them both a -5 for this.
I do look quite different.
Indeed. That's enough. Both of them
Hell
nod.
yeah. Thank God both these guys can't remember a face for shit.
No, this guy's got two hands. Clap at him.
Yeah. I don't think this could be it.
Neither of them were super close either. If they were, I was going to make it sort of like, there's something about this guy. But no, they both just look at you and nod. The Sir Elaine says, "I recognize your banners. You're known as the Black Dog, yes?"
That I am, by friends and enemies alike. We're traveling northward, looking for good work. I hear that your region's been having some issues with recent conflicts, conquests, things of the like. Perhaps you could use a few swords.
Sir Locke says, "Indeed, and some knights to swing them. I hope you bring both."
We've got our share of talented soldiers. That we're not lacking in.
Sir Lane nods. Your timing is fortunate. Nanteleod is not far from here. We can take you to him directly if you wish.
I would very much like that. Audience with the king's not something that someone like me gets very often. I covet such an opportunity.
Very well then. And with that, Elaine turns his horse and then begins to guide you back in that direction, into their camps. Warrensis is a pretty big county, as it were. I'll just kind of show you guys an old school map that has the counties listed. I don't think it's necessary to necessarily show everybody, so we won't cut over to the other view. But Warrensis is basically what rests between you and the targets, the county of Lambor and Bedegrain. Those are the places that Nanteleod means to make war with. And Warrensis is where you are currently. So as you ride up, you see probably, not even probably, this is the biggest host you've seen since the days of Uther. It's quite impressive. Anarchy so far has been spent skirmishing. It's been spent in petty minor wars, border conflicts. This is, in the case of like Cornwall, a siege, but not really needing to bring this kind of muster together. This is a Uther-sized muster. And after leading you through the camp to a series of tents, welcome in, Spooky Pumpkin. So as you make your way into the camps, you see the heraldry of Nanteleod ahead. Your men are asked to stay back, allowing you and perhaps one or two men forward. This would be pretty standard protocol. Do you have any resistance to that?
No, this tracks. I think Percy will lean over to Locke and go, this is some host. I've heard of Nanteleod's word carrying a lot of weight, but this is something beyond what I had imagined.
He's a good king. I'm surprised to say it myself. But I've not seen him fail his subjects. And believe me, between you and I've kept a close eye on such.
Indeed. Not many would figure you as one of his supporters, nor would many figure you as someone that Nanteleod would want to keep around. You must both carry some value to each other.
Perhaps. I was fodder for my brother at first, a way that he could avoid directly supporting Nanteleod. But when Nanteleod went north, it seemed that brother lost any hope of reclaiming the greatness of our former father's kingdom. He still holds his title amongst his own lands, and that seems to satiate any ambition he has. As for myself, I had never hoped to be a king. I knew I was the second born. I dreamed of being a knight, and Nanteleod's claim for a high king, I find it impressive.
Impressive is certainly the word that I would use as well. You know, they're not even talking about Nanteleod that much southward. Most people are too worried about their own issues. But if they saw this, they would talk. Yeah. Perhaps after I speak to the king, you and I can get a drink and talk about things that never can be again.
Such as Vortigern.
Aye. And many others. There's a freedom to losing expectation. Don't you agree?
I suppose.
There's also a loss to losing a limb.
I will test again, just in case. He was the one with less, so he's got to get a 3 or under to succeed here.
He got an 8-5 out of 7.
He got a 7 out of 3. So, he just sort of scrunches his nose up like he doesn't quite understand that one. This is you people from Logres. You speak strangely sometimes.
You'll forgive me. There was a period in my life I spent time as a jester. The taste of those words never quite left my mouth.
You don't happen to be Sir Kane?
Sir Kane?
Yes, Uther's famous jester.
You had a beef with him.
Yes, Sir Kane. No. Is he missing?
He shrugs. To be true, I don't know who survived amongst Uther's kin and loyal subjects. It seems they've been scattered to the wind.
Would be awfully suspicious if he wasn't there, I suppose.
Indeed. And with that, one of the guards steps forward. He's a bigger, like, brutish guy. He says, King Nanteleod will see you now.
Thank you, dearly.
You're brought into the tent. This is not. This is where this has been set aside for him to treat with you. Amongst Nanteleod, who's present and very obvious. / you've met him before, and I think it's evident even if you haven't, given the crown and where he's placed. Beside him.
Oh, anybody can wear a crown and
Right.
put on a fancy outfit. That's half of it. I've played Hitman. I know how this works.
Right. Beside him is another, potentially a knight, and definitely a nobleman. He's not dressed in chain, he's dressed in fine clothes. He sits with his arms folded behind his back. Stands tall, actually, with his arms folded behind his back. Good posture. Probably in his mid to late 40s. King Nanteleod motions. Please. Come in.
Thank you, my lord. And Percy will give the appropriate bow or kneel. I thank you humbly for welcoming me into your court today.
We'll treat with any mercenary knight. Any knight of the realm, as it is. You've... Are
yet
you...
I am no mercenary knight. No, but I am not just any mercenary knight.
Are you a knight?
Aye.
He nods.
Not all of my men are. But I promise you, if they serve with me, they are worthy of the title. Oh, don't like that. Don't roll things. Stop that.
I gotta do a couple.
Lustful 16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even scarier than the famous one.
So he says, You have my ear for the evening. We plan to move north in the morn. I hear you're the Black Dog, or I presume.
Aye. And most stories you've heard about me are likely true.
I see. They say that you do a good job at keeping your lands hidden, obscured. But if I have it correct, you seem to be situated, and he kind of moves over towards like a battlefield map that he has on in the tent, and he draws lines between Glevum and Gentian. He says, if I have your men's movement correct, you reside somewhere between these lands.
It honors me to be on your radar so acutely, Your Highness.
In these times, without kings, it's hard to know who's friend and who's foe. It's better to track all who hold power.
And yet, it certainly seems like these times without kings is coming to an end. Perhaps.
You've heard of my claim, then, as the grandson of Vortimer.
There are few, Your Highness, that don't speak of it. I've been all over this country, and though not many focus on the subject, there are few who haven't heard of it.
We do not wish to come as an invading force into Logres, but there are those that will create more chaos if not dealt with.
It is a never-ending struggle.
I presume as a mercenary knight who is trading with me, you have no qualms against serving a foreign king.
My knights, though they do not come from the same origins, nor the same lands, though not all of them carry the same titles, they all have one thing in common. None of them carry their borders with them. We serve an idea, Your Highness, and that idea does not stick to any one county. We will see England ruled by a true king once again. Britain ruled by a true king once again.
He nods. Then we share a similar goal.
My men are diverse in function. Your agents are good to have been able to find us and keep such close eye on us. And yet, you still provided me with a range rather than an exact location. I think that speaks for our ability to maintain that level of discretion. I'm sure you've heard of the Black Dog's willingness to take on jobs that are unsightly as well as the sightly ones. Should you have interest, my men will serve as is most appropriate for you. And discreetly at that.
I would like to draw a line between what we ask of you, sir. He pauses. Would you prefer I simply call you the Black Dog?
It's a fine title, and it carries more weight than my name.
Very well then. We have no need for honorless actions. But for
Then you
matters
shall
of
see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oop, sorry. No, you first. I'll let him
Yeah,
finish before
yeah.
I commit to saying what I'm going to say.
But matters of discretion sometimes are needed.
If that be the case, my king, then you will see no dishonor, and you will hear no disgrace.
I need someone who does not ride with my banners, to be my eyes and ears in Lambor and Bedegrain, to tell me what the lay of the land is. What attracted me to your name, Black Dog, is the way in which you seem to come and go. You seem to transverse hostile territory as if it's no true threat.
I am, if nothing else, a creature of the land, Your Highness. And my company goes where it's needed. I believe that'll suffice.
Very well. We will be treating with the barons of Orensis as we move through it, making sure that our back, as it were, is well and situated before finding ourselves trapped. Furthermore, we have allies coming from the kingdom of Camliard. They will be moving east through Lambor and holding the border at Bedegrain. Should you encounter them, they will not know who you are, and they might consider you a foe. I request that you give them wide berth and only engage as necessary.
My men like to fight, but they like to avoid fighting even more, sire.
Very good. What I aim to bring to this land is a high king worthy of the title. Should I meet one more worthy than I? Then perhaps I will bend the knee.
I think this is going to be a very strong relationship, my king. I'll make sure someday soon you're able to reciprocate that feeling.
He nods that. There's definitely a suspicion and a doubt in his eyes at that, but he give me an intrigue test.
Like that. Don't look at me like that, fella. Don't look at me like that, fella. Hey, can I test a passion, perhaps?
Test it, or what are you looking for?
Sorry. Can I impassion myself?
Yes, you can.
For this role.
Yep.
Hate Uther.
Hate Uther. Fuck that guy. No,
Someone needs to
think
go
this will
into Liam's sheet and change that to Uther just to troll them.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who? That intrigue of mine.
He seems doubtful of the comments you make, and you can tell that makes him a little less trustful of you, though he just seems naturally suspicious.
I mean, he's a king. He's got to be, right?
Yeah. what you're surprised by probably is it doesn't seem to flare a prideful response.
Interesting.
Okay. We will move away from that scene. We're gonna pick up with in the county of Gentian. At the recently conquered lands. We're going to have Blethint here, Florence, and then I'm going to cut you over to Virgil here. So
I love Virgil.
Indeed.
I
So-
said it in the chat, but I'll say it again. For people who don't pick up on the stuff that Perin alludes to, he's the weirdest person in the world.
It's true. There's people who watch our show, and there's NPCs in the world that interact with Perin. Neither of them know what the fuck he's talking about.
You're talking about one-armed men clapping like that's supposed to be a gotcha, but I just met you, my guy.
It's more for me, you know. It's more for that's for Perin. That one's for Perin.
I like
Alright.
that Perin makes a bunch of one-handed jokes, but has
Yes.
both hands up to everyone's appearance.
Welcome in, Stargana. Good to see you.
Hello.
Ooh.
Alrighty. So when we move into Gentian for this scene, Florence, you and I imagine Virgil, and how injured is Blethint?
Very. Let me quickly bring up his sheet. He has 6 hit points left.
Oh, okay. So he's like awake and about.
He's up. He's up.
Has he had surgery yet? Does he need surgery?
He does not need surgery.
Okay.
But he has not had it yet.
So you actually had, you can be first aided a couple times. That means you
I
avoided a major
could, yes.
wound. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll a d20 versus, let's say, 16 a couple times for you.
Nice.
Oh, crit on the last
Ooh.
one. So you get roll a d3, Thomas, and then a d3 plus 3.
Absolutely. Nice.
So in Florence, if you have injuries too that you haven't first aided, you can do that.
I don't think I have any injuries.
That brings Blethant up to a decent amount. Still below half, but he's chilling.
Yeah, I don't think I took any damage during the last combat.
Must be nice. But yeah, very much so. You were commanding and like charging through the gates at the very last. You weren't getting pelted by arrows.
I weren't trying to climb a ladder and get pelted by arrows.
If Edrich were there, he would have been doing the same thing, and he would have also gotten hit a lot.
The other key figure who's present is Sir Kador, who was the one who defeated the Baron that held this land.
Not
Well,
Right.
technically,
um.
Virgil took his head off.
Oh, it was
yes,
Virgil. Yeah.
Virgil did get the kill.
Yeah, I killed
missed
the
that.
shit out of that guy.
He like was fighting him, right? Is that what happened?
He
I
was
just forgot.
fighting Kador.
Kador was fighting him and distracted. Virgil couldn't quite pull himself away from the killing blow, which was critical at the time. And he lost a point of honor, and I feel so bad, but also...
Oh, you reminded me. Fuck, I'm back down to 18 again. Ah!
You're like, listen, I tried not to kill him by cutting his head off, right? He should have looked my way. Like,
Exactly.
You
I cut his
always
head
look
off
both ways
easily.
when... Yeah,
should
you
have
always look
surrendered.
both ways.
This is what he gets for facing Salisbury Knights and Virgil specifically.
It wasn't quite that he was going up against Salisbury Knights, it's that he was going up against physics. Newton's second law is, I believe, the law of inertia, so that's what he was fighting. You were traveling to him at an incredibly fast horse sprint. And you can't stop that.
a knight on a horse left Sarum traveling it. Yeah. It's an SAT question. So with
I
that,
hate word problems.
with that, you guys have basically spent the last few days sort of securing this place. There's been no formal response from outside. Furthermore, you're without your marshal. Who's stewarding this place in the meantime? Who are we leaving that to?
That's the thing, because originally, the plan kind of was for the marshal to do it because that's his job in wartime. But at the moment, it would probably be who was Edric's replacement? The Born conspiracy guy.
Yeah, Erwin.
Erwin. I think Erwin would make a pretty good choice for the Salisbury Knights all around, but that'll be up to him.
Ultimately, I imagine it's a decision between the three highest ranking knights, which would be Florence, Virgil, and Olwen.
Yeah. So we can do that kind of off screen unless you guys really want to do that on screen. Like, who do we want to assign or appoint to? You're going to be making a stewardship role is what you're going to be doing, and then we're going to see how poorly things are going with, supplies and such to ready this army.
Yeah, Florence's people do this for him, so he's not going to stick his head out.
What about Virgil? Is he sticking his head out for this?
Virgil's usually sticking his head out. What's the? Give me a very brief. Oh shit! I clicked the wrong tab.
Stewardship.
Yeah, stewardship. Virgil's really bad at that, but does he know better?
I guess it'd be a prideful versus a whatchamacallit role.
Yeah, I think
versus
Virgil
reckless?
might.
Or could be reckless.
Stewardship too. No, I don't think he's got any illusions. He has no fucking clue what he's doing. Yeah, he's shit, but he does want things. What can I impassion? Can I impassion honor?
I think if it's yeah. I think if it's his ambitions, I'd say it's like selfish versus sort of like, I don't know, something of the
not good
sort.
at it though. Yeah, I think maybe modest versus selfish. I think that's probably
Yeah. Okay.
that's probably what the best.
Well, starting out killer. Watch you crit on this one, though.
Well, the odds are not high. Virgil is not a very selfish dude.
How do you want to interpret this? Fail them both.
I'd maybe say modest is still the stronger personality trait. I'd say that he's willing to recognize that even though he wants it, he's not capable of doing it on his own, and they need somebody at least in the short term who can handle it.
Erwin's okay at it. He's not great. He's probably better than both of you, though. I can give you his number.
Probably better than both of us combined, honestly. Yeah, Virgil's stewardship is 2, so
Florence's is also 2.
Okay, yes.
My stewardship is 14. Let me in.
Okay, so he's got a 9. Let's see how this goes.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so here's...
At least this isn't my fault.
Yeah.
This is one of the problems which I can't be blamed for.
Wouldn't it be funny if that was my impassion?
You go insane and just flee the first time someone hands you paperwork.
I hate taxes! Ah!
This is a bit of Erwin's fault and a bit of everything going wrong at the same time, too, and him just not managing it. So it seems that not only that, like your plans for bringing in the supplies to maintain this army, they've been being harried by roving cavalrymen on the outside of the town. So you guys are not quite starving, but if it were to continue for several weeks after this, you would be on the brink of starvation. That makes all the local common folk too quite disgruntled towards you. So there's starting to be that, and he's not doing a pretty good job at that. So hate commoners is like upping pretty significantly in this land. On top of that, you are, you're seen as, external invaders, right? So there's definitely some of that going on. Maybe we'll kind of bring us into a scene with we'll say Blethyn's there just to give Thomas some interaction. And because Blethyn right now is the heir apparent for your house. So, just kidding. Not quite. You have children and Cynstenian.
Yeah,
but
I got one son.
yeah, you got a son and you've got a brother. So before Blethyn would ever come in. But nonetheless, the three of you and Erwin are together for this.
Things are not good out there.
Seems to be the consensus. Well, so
He looks really stressed. He isn't the type that has a lot of, like, you never see him stressed. He looks pretty stressed right now. He says, if I knew Edrich wasn't to be here, I would have convinced Gareth to ride with me rather than maintaining garrison.
The
We are in
commoners
the-
will make do. This is what happens with war. It's an adjustment period. They'll get used to it, and then things will get better. It's the way of things.
Any strategy based around one person being here to do things is a little bit of a flawed one. But at the moment, all that you all can do with respect is play catch up. If the cavalrymen are stopping us and the citizens from getting food, the citizens will eventually eat us. We need to disrupt their operations.
we need to get them some food. Restore supply lines.
With that, a horn blows, and about 30 seconds later, a messenger comes running into the room.
Yes? What is it?
Somebody better be dead.
Sir Knights, we have guests.
Guests?
He pauses.
I don't appreciate dramatic pauses. Could you elaborate?
They come from a nearby abbey, he says.
Abbey?
Maybe the barmaid priest was right. Maybe this place is cursed.
Well, we might as well see what they're up to. Perhaps they'll have some supplies in trade. For piety and prayers, or whatever it is they're looking for.
All
Well
right.
then, send them in.
Erwin looks to you and says, is it such a good idea to bring them here? Should we ride out and meet them, perhaps?
feel like-
Messenger. Oh, sorry, my lord.
No, it's alright. I feel like we might be in agreement with this. I feel as if we're probably much more safer in a fortified area such as this, rather than riding them out to meet in the middle of nowhere where we could easily be ambushed.
Yes, the advantage of a castle is that it's hard to get into the castle. If we let them in, we'll still have all of our swords to the ready. If they're masquerading as priests, as I'm sure nobody would ever think to do. How many are them? Oh, sorry. How many are they from the Abbey, Messenger?
More than 100, sir.
That complicates things. Start
enough.
with that next time, please.
Of course, sir.
Venerable army of monks. That's not good.
Assuming they are monks. Oh, by the way, like, this guy's worldly 18. He, like, thinks the church is just a political entity, and he's going to say, why not have them set out representatives and have them come into the fortress? That way they can't overwhelm anyone with numbers, even if they have got chainmail underneath the habits.
Wise. If they are planning sabotage, their robes won't protect them.
With that, the messenger kind of looks and says, I will go now, sirs. He bows, and then he runs off. After...
I like him. 100 monks. Should take precedence then. Some monks.
After, let's see how many show up. After probably the better part of almost a half hour, the entourage enters. A few of them looking the part of younger men. Two of them older. One clearly garbed in, regalities. What am I looking for? Like robes and adornments that suggest they're of a higher authority than the others.
Yes. Vestments of authority.
There we go, vestments. There we go. As they all nod.
Sir Blethant is going to be fairly quiet. For one, he is the lowest ranking member of the entourage. For another, he's mostly going to be focused on just keeping an eye on these priests and authorities. He might be worldly 18, but he also remembered that weird things happened in this castle.
Florence is famously hospitable, yes?
Very much so. He is known for his hospitality. His hospitality 20.
Okay, so he's exalted in hospitality. Yeah, so actually Erwin is going to delegate you being the one to sort of greet them, since they are noble. Yeah.
Alright then. I welcome them in with open arms, with what meager bread and salt we can supply.
What do you say as they approach, as they enter?
Gentlemen, priests, welcome to Castle Marlborough, or rather the town of Marlborough. How might we be able to assist you? We heard that you came of a large group from an abbey not too far away.
The main one speaks up. Aye, sir. We heard about this invasion. I'm Abbot Cadfael of Blooded's Mound.
Welcome,
A pleasure
Abbot
to meet
Cadfael.
you, Abbot.
We have come to inquire. We've heard of your success and victory here. What is the fate of Sir Drew, the Baron of this here castle?
Virgil will lean forward as if he's about to speak. Someone else can cut him off. if
Yeah,
he'd want.
I think at that point Florence goes, Sir Drew, right, the Baron of these lands. Yes, from what I heard, I believe he unfortunately fell in battle.
He nods. I suspected
fought
that
well.
might be the case. And his eyes look to Virgil.
I imagine he was well respected. and the county is worse for his loss.
It is an unfortunate series of events, but it is what we find ourselves in.
He responds to Virgil and says, "Many would say such, indeed." I've come to negotiate on behalf of the people of Gentian.
I see.
With respect, and not to interrupt, you wear the vestments of an abbot, no? That's... And forgive any disrespect, for none is intended. A fairly low rank for someone who speaks for a county and the people within it.
Indeed. A wise note. He kind of looks at Blethington and says, "Sir Knight." And yet, here I am.
I see.
Is there a reason why the leadership of Gentian are unwilling to speak with us themselves? Do you speak on their behalf or just on the people's behalf?
I speak for what remains of the leadership of Gentian. It seems that their greatest and most noble has been slain.
Whoops. Ooh, sorry about that, fellas.
I see. Well, it seems as if we are at a new point as we move forward with the relationship between Salisbury and those of this county. I assume you have something you're coming to the table with.
Aye. Though I may indeed be an abbot, I am, in fact, a baron of the robe. My name holds great deal here. My position was supported by the late King Uther Pendragon. These lands are foreign to Salisbury claim. Before Salisbury, your tribal people did not hold these lands. You are occupiers, perhaps rightfully so, but that does not change that you are foreign to this land. The people here will not see you as rulers. What's more, I know that you are under threat. From Cornwall and from Wessex. That is to say, if the death of your late Earl Rhodric, if his feud with Silchester has been set aside long enough for you to no longer worry directly about your eastern borders with Silchester and the Atrebates.
I just want to note, and it's so frustrating, because I expected this exact conversation and those exact arguments, and I had them written down as Edrich for his justification, but Sir Blethyn doesn't know any of it. He's serving Cornwall.
Nevertheless, Logres is in a terrible state, and I mean to support Britons to rule it once more, not Saxons, or Northmen, or men from Gales. The castle of Marlborough can remain under your stead without resistance until Sir Drew's youngest is of age. Furthermore, you can choose where he is warded, so long as it is not in Salisbury. We will offer you tribute, though we will not. We may only offer our position of surrender to a king. And there is no king in Salisbury. There's no king in Logres.
Virgil will just reach out and kind of lightly touch Florence on the shoulder, as if he wants to speak with him just for a moment, you know?
That Florence will go, "One moment, Abbot." And then he turns around and goes off into a corner.
The abbot just kind of exchange looks.
Keep him entertained. Do a little song and dance or something. I don't know.
Erwin's here too. Erwin's probably.
Erwin's invited as well. Virgil.
No one wants to see me sing.
Virgil goes. Although I see the value in accepting tribute, I'm not sure tribute is what we need. Be a show of strength, and that is what we came here for. But we need knights, not money.
I think we'd be hard-pressed to find knights in Marlborough, considering we just killed a bunch of them.
But money's not going to make the situation more relaxed. It's going to make them look at us in the way that the Saxons, we look at them. I didn't come here to be a tyrant. I came here to prove a point and to take back something after they tried to take something from us. As far as
Would you not say our point has been proven, though?
I would. Which is why, though it may be beneficial to Salisbury, I don't want to take tribute from them. Perhaps we can arrange instead, with our leverage of having Marlborough, some means of soldier exchange. They're unwilling to let Drew's son be warded within Salisbury lands, though I think that would be important for building a relationship in the future. I do think that perhaps sharing some hardships might help prevent this from maintaining a grudge.
Well, to be honest, I'm of the position that holding these lands is not particularly of strategic interest. I think our point has very much been proven, that we are not one to lie down if others are to come after us, and that we have the strength of force to fight back if necessary. Though, tribute would go quite far to funding further efforts of our defenses. After all, knights are not cheap. But you do make some good points.
Knights are not cheap, but we will be leaving Gentian at an even weaker position for facing its own enemies.
I think Gentian will most likely be fine. I mean, who's the biggest threat to Gentian?
I'm not ignorant to the contradiction in what I'm saying, Florence. I just want to make sure that we are understanding exactly what we're signing up for here. And Virgil turns to Erwin and he goes, "You've been quiet."
You guys were on a private conversation.
Oh, sorry. I
I think it was.
Yeah. Erwin would be there if he was, but he's over with Blithen, like
I
entertaining
forgot
the
that he was.
guests. Yeah, you're all good.
I forgot he was here when I talked to Florence, but I would have invited him if that's okay.
Sure.
Into the little talky talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, Blethant is, considering he wasn't fully statted and still isn't, he's an odd choice for keeping the dinner guests entertained, but he's doing his best.
Yeah, it's probably awkward.
I have 2 stats. I have 3 stats: awareness, intrigue, and siege.
You should roll orate just to see how bad it's going.
Do we know what your hospitality is yet?
Hospitality is 15.
Okay, so you're not terrible at that.
That is the baseline for knights, though.
Yeah.
For player knights.
That's true.
Yeah. So Erwin's additions to this will simply be, I agree that tribute would help us fund any future campaigns or even our own defense. And I would think, given what Edrich had spoken of, that was his intention. It seems they drive a fairly fair bargain. The question is, can we trust them?
Ultimately, it will mean we will hold another castle, which will mean our forces are just that bit more spread thin. After all, I doubt we could trust Knights of Glevum to hold it for us.
Out of character, do you mean Glevum or Gentian?
Wherever we are.
Gentian.
Yeah.
Gentian.
The way I see it, nobody's looking to just tread water. They're working an angle, certainly. But if they can't get to that position yet, they're going to try to survive first. That's why I'm encouraging... That's why I think it would be wiser for us to maintain a gracious relationship through this. Someday, they will be back in power. Unless we're willing to commit all the way to this invasion, we'll need to make sure that they feel as if they're being listened to. Give them a reason not to try to seek revenge.
It's also
Not too
another
long.
option when it comes to making amends. If we are to find a way to take in this young child of the previous Baron, we could ingratiate him to the people of Salisbury by extension. There is also the option, if this is truly a worthy resource for us to hold, of bringing them closer to Salisbury through blood and marriage.
I don't disagree.
Erwin says a betrothal then.
It would guarantee an alliance of sorts, and I think help smooth things going forward.
The boy was the one condition that the abbot was unwilling to push on. And yet, does seem like the most valuable move we could possibly make. Not as a hostage, but as a proper ward.
Indeed. I think I might be able to convince him. But I'll need a little bit more time. And maybe some wine.
Erwin sighs and says, if we had any left.
I guess water will have to do.
Perhaps the good abbot can perform a miracle for us.
Water into wine. I would like to I ask Bob your permission, as a somewhat underhanded knight of Sir Florence, would there be a secret stash of wine taken
You're
with
what,
the
worldly
party?
18?
Yeah.
Do we have your temperance score yet?
My temperance is. No, we do not. Temperate 0, indulgent 0.
Okay, roll a d20 for your d20 minus a d20. If it's 20, it will be a maximum 15. Put it that way, maximum 15.
2.
2. Okay, so your temperance score is 5. Your indulgent score is 15.
Yeah, this guy
So
loves
you-
to sin. It
you-
feels nice.
You absolutely have wine then.
I think in that, because as a member of the Winterbourne Stoke family gets a +5 to awareness, he definitely clocks that conversation from Sir Florence and Sir Owen, and he gives an askance side eye and nods. You know there's wine. There's always wine.
Yeah, and then Ponce goes, actually, we might just have that wine after all. But I digress. I think right now we should figure out exactly what it is we are going to be arguing for. For one, everything about their offer seems good for me. Whether or not we accept their offer of tribute, as he gestures towards Virgil, and whether we bring the two counties closer together.
Erwin says, they said a son, yes? And do we have a hand to offer?
Indeed we do. We have, the lady... Florence would most likely know her name, but I completely forgot.
Talking about Jenna?
Jenna, yeah.
No.
We do have the lady Jenna.
No. We want Jenna going bigger places.
I guess it's some more deep diving to do because you don't really know what their kin look like. Like, what is Roderick's kin outside of their direct lineage, right?
That is a good point. As if he had, like, nephews or nieces or something.
Yeah.
Did he have a brother? Shall we find out?
Yeah. Certainly didn't have an older brother. But
No. I assumed as much. Or they'd be dead.
Yeah.
How old's the son, Mr. Bob? It's okay if you don't have this information.
You don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year are we in? I do know that one. Yes.
Yep.
502. Okay.
Yeah.
502 minus 4.
And I believe if Jenna is not of age last year, she's of age this year. So she's not like super young. She's more in marriage age than betrothal age, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, how about this? I can keep treating with the abbot for a little while longer. See if I can stretch us out a little. In the meantime, both of you need to find out all the information we really need to know.
Are you sure you want me on that?
I'm sure you can knock a few heads together if we need to. And and to be brutally honest, at this point, we don't have too much of a choice.
If you would allow it, Erwin says, Sir Florence. Given that things have tamed a bit, and our biggest challenge has been reinforcing our supplies, I would like to lead a personal mission south. Perhaps then I can treat with Edrich, and we can be sure that we are in lockstep with Saram's wishes.
I think that's
a
wise.
good idea. Agreed. Very well. In the meantime, then, Virgil, I'll have you showing up the defenses of the castle. Make sure everyone's in line, alright?
Very well.
Okay.
I'll see how long I can drag this out and see if I can push forward a more agreeable deal for us all.
Okay. Do we want to play that out, Mark, or do you want to come up with what the? It's gonna come to a bit of a roll, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
Or a series. Do we want to go through those stipulations, kind of, sort of meta, high level?
I think the main thing is that Florence is seeing if the whole the child not being able to be warded in Salisbury, see if that's amenable, and kind of put forward some various options to see if he's willing to go back on that and allow us to build better relations between the two counties.
Okay.
One of the heaviest lines that the abbot drew was one of culture. As foreign invaders, he was never part of that kind of thing, while still Britons, very, very different. But melding that, we'll see what he's into.
Let's
Also-
start with a high level roll here. I want a diplomacy roll from
Alright.
Florence.
He's going to be using his hospitality.
Okay.
That is a +10.
Nice.
This
Stand
is
back.
Florence's
I
jam.
got this.
That's a 12.
Okay.
Which isn't great for me.
Okay.
Oh, it's better than his.
Yep. It's a success, but not a success and a failure on his part. So we'll kind of get to that a little bit later, I think. With that, I'm going to change gears. We're going to cut scenes real quick and
Oh.
figure out what the hell exactly happened to Edrich. So give me a sec to do some slight modifications here.
Where in the world is...
Actually, we're gonna go to break
One-
because we usually do that once a night. So let's take a quick break, and when we return, it'll be Edrich. All right, we're back from break, and we're picking up with Sir Edrich the captive, yet again. You find yourself in a guarded room. Doesn't look to be a cell per se. As you kind of come to. There's been food served to you by unmarked knights several times. But today's different. When the door opens, there's no food. Instead, there's a knight. He's dressed in his armor. Stands tall. We're going to start with a recognized roll for you, Edrich.
Absolutely. Failure.
Yeah. There's something about him that you're like, I've met him before, but you can't really recall where.
How long has Edrich been here?
You don't know. You've been
Yes.
in and out. Picture, well, you were in...
kind of.
Yeah.
I was in need of surgery, and
Yeah.
I think I still remain in need of surgery.
It's an
Every
uncomfortably
time,
familiar situation for you.
yes, every time he wakes, the thought runs through his mind, accompanied by flashes of pain. My life is strewn with cowpats from the devil's own satanic herd. But
give me a
just
first
interrupt
aid
me as he
roll.
sees this person. Absolutely. My first aid is 10. A failure again, same roll.
Yeah, it's still a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from where he is, and he is conscious, he will look to this knight who is vaguely familiar, but he will incline his head in a motion that sends pain shooting through various wounds, and he will say, Sir Knight.
Sir Edrich. Good to see you alert enough.
Yeah. I do apologize that I could not earlier give the, shall we say, niceties that perhaps the situation deserves, but I was quite wounded. You have my thanks for the medical assistance rendered.
You should know that I presume your squire has been slain.
I see. You're doing?
No. It was those who took you captive.
Please do forgive me, but who now do I behold? Where am I?
You are close enough, within range, to return to Sarum. You see, you being here is a matter of opportunity. My men came across an encounter with you and presumably your squire.
His name was Owen.
There were knights garbed in black. They had no coat of arms of their own.
Nor I have noted your guards, though that is a tactic I am used to.
Indeed. Your original captors have been dealt with. We surrounded them, and they had little time to react. They fled west. I believe they may be from that strange castle with the markings.
Castle Alabaster, indeed. I will say this. Edrich is fully aware of his own internal motivations and biases, and while he would probably like to assume that he was almost captured by them again, I would like to see if this person is being dishonest about certain things. He didn't mention who he is. He didn't mention where we are beyond a general location. But is he being honest about the other things?
You can test intrigue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He has absolutely no tells that he's lying.
Oh no, that's worse. Edric will nod and he will say, "Thank you, then, for the rescue in addition to the others. You mentioned opportunity."
Forgive me for being blunt, Sir Edrich, but you're not a popular man here in Salisbury. There'd be many that would take the opportunity to ask for a marshal's ransom with such an unguarded, unconscious figure such as you.
It was poor luck, and I am aware that it is. I am aware that my personality does not exactly win many prizes, particularly during times of anarchy. You said many would. Is this to say that you will not?
As I said, Sir Edrich, I consider myself a man of opportunity. And it seems that I am lacking. So, I will be clear to my goals here. I am a knight who was forgotten. Left for dead in Malahut. The last time Roderick rode there. The last time he was ambushed. I petitioned Sarum through my Saxon captors for ransom. I petitioned my house as well. And no ransom was given. It wasn't till recently that I was released. But I was released to nothing. My house has been taken.
Did this ring any bells? I failed to recognize, but
Yeah.
I was there.
I mean, it could have been. You were there last time Roderick got ambushed. Could have been one of several convoys of Salisbury Knights. Yep.
You have my sympathies for what you have gone through. I admit, were political leanings different, I may have languished in a Saxon cell for longer. But I must ask again, sir. I would have your name and your house.
My name I can give you, but as I've said, I hold no claim to any house, and that is what I wish to change.
Quite so.
I'm Sir Cecil. Think Cecil with a T.
Sizzled.
You mentioned you returned home to nothing. Who now holds your land?
The Countess. Perhaps rightfully so, but that's not my concern. You see, my brother, Sir Loof, he was no good man. That was clear. And perhaps he did. Perhaps he deserved the death he had.
Yes,
however,
there's definitely a shift in personality. In one moment it was the inquisitive Edrich, in another it's, "Ooh, I see." There's no smile, there's no glee, but there's definitely a sharper wolfish look.
a vengeful man would simply have your head. I'm sure you'd be mourned for a time.
By some, perhaps.
But it's hard to find a knight with no house. And I am not my brother. My ransom was paid recently, and have returned. Been brought up to speed on these matters. I offer you a choice. For one ransom, I will release you with a word that you will return to the Countess, and you will have my house returned to me. Should you refuse this, I will request a marshal's ransom from Salisbury.
Now, a question for you, Bob. These lands in particular, was it Devices and the assorted Humble Creek Manor, or was it just Humble Creek?
He's not Humble Creek. He's Linderton Manor.
Linderton Manor.
Humble Creek is
do I know?
where that was where your naked
that's right.
wrestling took place as Goretrix all those years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Milkfield.
Oh yeah. No, those are both. So Milkfield is a 100, like a plot of land, a very big chunk of land. Devices is the castle, which he has no claim to, and technically neither did Loof, right? What he
Indeed.
wants back is
And
his
it's
manor.
mine now.
Yeah, I wasn't going to give him it.
Well, it's the queen's or countess's. Just to be clear, you're a marshal or you're a castellan. It's very different than being the owner of it. Yeah. You are
But
the
it's
man in
mine
charge of it.
now. it's mine now, though.
But what he's asking for specifically is Linden Manor, right?
Linderton, yes.
Linderton Manor. Do I know... so it's the Countess who owns it. Is anyone stewarding it at the moment?
Make a stewardship roll.
Success.
It's been impounded. It's now the Countess's claim. They hold lands all across Salisbury. When knights die and there's no rightful heir, things like that. Or the rightful heir is someone in question or a foreign held knight. A knight owing their fealty elsewhere. Then it would go back to, usually to the Count. But given the current regent scenario, it would be the Countess's. It's actually technically Robert's, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But Robert, much like Edrich, can't write, so it's hard to do paperwork. But Edrich will, these calculations going through quickly, he'll reference in his mind palace, Linderton. For the former, I can give you my word that this will be brought up to the Countess. And
I need more than being brought up, Sir Edrich. I know you as a man who accomplishes the things he seeks after and does. I need to know that that is the level of fervor in which you'll do this. Your oath, your word as an honorable knight.
You have my oath. And indeed, as I was going to say, currently the land is owned by the Countess and none other. None steward it, and there will not be a contest beyond the desires of the Countess, and indeed the Count. I do not believe there will be obstacles, but if there are, they will be dealt with. If the manor appears impossible, you have my word doubly so, that your request for a marshal's ransom will be granted in lieu of the land. But my intent is to ensure that you and your family, going forward, will have the ancestral house that belonged to you. You took no part in your brother's actions, And indeed, it is a regret that because of what occurred, you spent so long away from home. I might be a sneaky bastard, but I've got honor 16.
Mm-hmm. He'll say, swear it on behalf of your god, or your family, if you are not a godly man.
I do so swear. Now, I could just be seeing or hearing things. When he said on your god, is that a mark of someone being pagan, or simply a turn of phrase?
Hard to say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yes. Edrich did swear. And he will say, rest assured, as you have said, I accomplish that which I intend to set out to do. This is one of those things.
Very well.
You had the opportunity to do more. But instead, you did a great service. The one tragedy, the two. The first that Owen died, the second that we were in that situation to begin with.
Very well. Seeing that you're wounded, where should we take you to? We can escort you. I presume you are making your way to Marlborough.
I will need to ensure that the theater of war there goes as planned, and to ensure that Marlborough, supposing it's been taken, I have confidence in my men that it's been taken. Administrating it, that's a different matter. But first, I do require perhaps a little bit more in the way of medical attention. I feel the bones in my body moves in ways unaccustomed. And I must speak, at the very least, to the Countess, and get another horse and squire before I head north again.
Very well. We are not far from devices. If you wish it, we can see that you're treated there if you require a chirurgeon.
Yes, that will do well. In addition, should a southern response occur, I will be in position to muster the defenses. Devices will do nicely. I can send out messengers from there.
Very well. With that, they're going to escort you out. You'll be still bound for the first bit. They're going to blindfold you for the first bit. And then after a while, about an hour on the road, the blindfold's removed and your binds are removed.
On the back of the horse, bound, every movement shooting blinding spikes of pain through Edric's abdomen. One thing he says, in spite of the pain, is, "This is the third time that it has happened to me, and nobody ever bothers to wash the blindfold."
What a silly guy.
But yes.
When you're out of the scenario where you're unbound and your blindfold's removed, he says, "Are the rumors true of your wife, Sir Edrich?"
Which rumor?
That she was kin to Iosa?
That is true.
I see. That must be
do I
difficult
get-
for you.
Politically, yes. Personally, there was friction for a time. Particularly considering, well, actions taken on both sides of the blade. But forgive me, you likely do not wish to hear of my personal life.
He shrugs. I find it fascinating that you were taken prisoner from his very people, and that you would marry one of them.
My love for her, our love for each other, it supersedes, overrides the frictions that the Saxons have caused us, and us them in turn. I was fortunate, I suppose, that the battle which gave me this scar and caused no deal of strife for my family made me discover someone with whom I could spend the rest of my life with. And someone who'd forgive me killing her uncle. That a very large boon.
I will tell you what I know of the North. Perhaps it's worth you being aware. It seems that Malahut and the Northern Saxons are setting aside their conflicts once more.
Yes, there have been whispers as much. Indeed, even as we were up there, many of the tribes were hired by the northern kings. Have they made any movements that you or your people are aware of?
They participated in training. They have horse riders now, Sir Edrich.
Ah, delightful. One of the advantages that knights have over Saxons is better training, better arms and armor, and our speed of horse. The advantage Saxons have is their lack of discipline in a way, and their numbers. Now that they will have numbers and the other matters, well, terrain will be the advantage, and experience. Forgive me, I don't mean to strategize aloud, but Malahut does tend to rear its head as a problem.
Indeed. With that, as you kind of near devices, him and his men will stop, like when it's within eyesight.
I will say this, and I realize perhaps my face does not say what my words do, but I must stress, you have shown remarkable honor. You speak of opportunity, but this is a great service that you have done me. You have saved my life and no great deal of trouble for Salisbury. What you have asked of me will be done.
I will hold you to that, Sir Edrich.
Quite so. And with that, Edrich will turn and continue to ride. Now, he's actually doing better health-wise than Sir Blethant was at the end of the battle. But surgery is still needed, and I don't believe we did his major wound.
No, nope. Good times.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you have any major penalties there, just to make sure, because you don't want an extra major wound on accident.
Define major penalty. My current hit points is 12.
My point is you haven't, like, major wounds bring your stats down, so I just want to clarify we're not double dropping you.
No.
I think we should kill Edrich right now, actually.
I think we should kill Edrich right now. The maximum I think that can be rolled is 4d6, and if that affected size or con 4 times over, I'd still be alive. My hit points is 12, it's not 3.
Okay. I need 2d6 roll, good sir.
4.
2 attributes.
2 attributes?
2 attributes. Now,
right,
you're going to roll
2d6 again.
Yes, indeed.
2 and 2.
2 dex drops.
Oh, man!
That's brutal.
My dexterity is now 7. I am arthritic.
Yeah, I think you broke a leg or a hip or something. That's never going to quite be the same for either. Yeah.
Indeed.
We got to get the old man life alert.
Yeah. What's your age,
I've fallen
too?
and I can't get up. My age is 38.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, honestly, yeah.
I remember when I was 21, when I felled a giant and the giant fell on me and I was fine. But now, I sneeze wrong and my back hurts.
Yeah, I think you walk with a limp for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, man. I'm going to have to somehow up that.
Now, we're going to say that the device is roll a d6.
3. Oh, you're muted.
I have a 17 charge in it devices. So roll a d20 and get 17 or under, and you are looked after.
Don't botch, don't. What? That's under 17.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. All right. You will be looked after. It's probably going to take about a week for everything, and then you'll be back on your way. So
there is a slew of messengers coming from devices.
Yeah. So there'll be organization that you're found and where you're located and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to zoom back in on Florence real quick and see what this Florence and Virgil, what's this negotiation here look like? What do we got going on?
Well, Blob, don't worry. Let me take care of this.
No!
Hell yeah! No. Virgil's doing. It was pretty close. Virgil's doing what he was told, which is he's focusing more on shoring up defenses, getting to know the new garrison, making sure everybody's making sure it's secured. There's not another thing. He's gonna let Florence do what Florence does, for better or for worse.
All right. Florence.
All right.
What are the conditions we're discussing here?
All right, Florence is going to do what he does best. The main things he brings up with the abbot is whether it is flexible around having the son of the previous baron be warded within Salisbury.
No, it's a hard statement. You get the impression that's like a no-go. Yeah, that turns into a political prisoner. They're not willing to do that. And what you know is that boy is not here. So you don't actually have a pressing matter over that. That would be them handing him over. So that's one thing you get the impression of. What was the second point?
The second point was around potentially bringing the two counties together through a marriage.
He does like that one. He's amenable to that one for sure. You get the impression he tries to pretend like he's not on board with it, like you're driving a hard bargain, but you can tell he actually is thinking the same kind of mindset as you're negotiating with him. These are the results of your successful diplomacy roll. That's why I'm giving you these.
Yeah. The main things Florence is putting forward is this idea of building a better relation moving forward, looking past previous indiscretions from both sides, as both have lost much from this.
Ours was cooler,
kind of
though.
that very. Yeah, we did. We lost in a better way.
They did say that they would allow the boy to be warded outside of Salisbury to a place of your choice, though.
Loophole. There's a loophole there.
Yeah, exactly. Florence would offer because that he knows of a baron in Cornwall who is open to the ideas of warding this young man and perhaps also getting him an idea of what it is to rule over lands and education as well as a wardship.
I think he's gonna be so pissed when he finds out. He's just...
Oh, you don't understand. This isn't great for us. Idris.
Yeah, the abbot's gonna actually bring that up in counter and be like, "Are you sure it'd be wise to leave him in lands that aren't Logres amongst invaders or future invaders such as Cornwall?"
In that condition, I am of the opinion that Cornwall has been a staple of these lands for quite some time now. Why not learn from our neighbors? Learn their cultures, their identities, allowing us to form a more coherent connection between all of us as we stand against the Saxon invaders. The ones who have no comprehension of our beliefs or cultures, of knighthood and faith, and of God, of course.
And whose lands would this barony belong to, Sir Florence?
Why, it would be the barony of Axe.
And who is the Baron of Axe?
I am.
What are Florence's highest? You're British Christian, not Roman Christian, and he is British Christian.
No. Yeah, he's Roman Christian. Yeah.
Oh, it's
not.
No, is Florence Roman Christian?
Yeah, he's Roman Christian.
Yeah.
Yes, this guy is. This
Roman.
abbot is too. That's why it's the cross
Oh,
and
yeah.
not the cup. So what are your highest? Do you remember what your Roman Christian traits are?
I believe so. One of them I know is generous. Merciful is another. Both of those are at 15. And those are my highest aside from valorous, which is a 17.
Okay, so just check.
Roman Christian virtues. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I got him. Chaste. What's your chaste?
11.
Forgiving.
Giving is also 11.
Merciful.
Merciful is 15.
Modest.
Modest is 12.
And temperate.
Temperate is 11.
Okay, yeah. So those are your. I think if I remember correctly, Florence is high in chivalric traits, but not necessarily in religious. But you're not low in any of those.
Yeah, I would say technically, if chivalry existed, he has enough for the chivalry bonus.
Yeah.
But it's not, so he has nothing.
Yeah.
Ahead of his
15
time.
is still pretty swanky. Like, you're not sinful.
He doesn't have a 15 in any of the Roman Christian stuff, though. It was all 11s and 12s, what he just read out. So.
Merciful.
Merciful was a 15.
Oh, okay. That's your one. Yeah, I think merciful versus what? Cruel? Is that what that one is?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's what he'll. But you're not famous in it. You're one short of famous?
No, I'm one off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be like, your name is known amongst our faith, Sir Florence. I believe I could persuade the remnant of his kin to release the boy to you and the barony of the axe, though I should warn you that they'll have questions about releasing him to Cornwall.
I suppose that's fair enough.
That might indeed give King Idris leverage for conquering Gentian. Should they, of course, get through Salisbury first.
Well, that's the thing, though. They would have to get through Salisbury. And let's be honest, if they get through Salisbury, these lands aren't going to stand a chance against Idris. Whether he has leverage or not.
And do you propose that Salisbury will be able to stand against Idris's forces? None of the former Duke Orlo's lands have so far.
I'm sorry, repeat that last one.
He says, and do you propose that Salisbury will be able to defend against Idris? Because none of the late Duke Orlo's lands have.
That is true. But there is one big difference between those lands and Salisbury.
What is that difference?
Salisbury just won a war.
I can most certainly attempt the persuading, if that is required.
Very well.
I would recommend a secondary option be decided on, should they resist it. Somewhere in Logres.
Somewhere in Logres. Well, the best hope is that it would be a place that is far away from the oncoming Saxons that seem to be making their way through the heartlands.
It seems that with the recent conflict, there's no place free of conflict. We're at the center of it all.
That is true. To give out just a kind of random thought, possibility. What if it was somewhere in Silchester?
The Duke Ulfius does command great respect. I believe that would sell well.
In that case, if they refuse our first offer, leave it with me. And see what I can come up with. But I will say, the Barony of Axe was a position that was given to me by the late King Uther Pendragon himself. As one of his Knights of the Sword, I have long served this realm, and indeed Logres.
Is it Logres you serve now, Sir Florence?
I serve Britain. I serve my people. I serve my king.
He's gonna not follow up on that at all.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
Alright. Roll me a D100, Mark, and you need a 20 or less for this to go in your favor.
Okay, then let's go.
Ooh,
16!
Hell yes!
Yeah.
Florence luck is kicking in.
Hell yeah!
All right. It looks like you're gonna have a ward in for better or worse. He's gonna be assigned to the axe.
We've got to kick Cornwall's ass. We have to beat them. We can't let them immediately get Chechen.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't be a prized possession, to say the least. It would just save them.
Yeah.
If they go through us, they're going to grab it anyway. It would not be difficult.
Also,
Here's
I
what
just
we
want to
do.
say, oh yeah?
we provoke Cornwall into attacking Gentian, but then we jump in and save Gentian, and now we're all cool again.
No, but they have to go through us or Summerlin.
No.
The thing I was going to say is it would be very embarrassing if the abbot was like, which king? And then Florence would have to coyly go, why isn't it obvious? I currently serve King Idris. And then... yeah.
Wait, but which king?
And then he'd go, yes, but like, tell me honestly the name of the king that you're talking about that you're serving.
All right.
I don't want to lie to a priest. Come on, man, let me off. Get off my ass, Abbot.
I'm gonna name the title of this episode that "Get Off My Ass, Abbot." It's gonna be 18 plus only. So
please stop asking me very reasonable follow-up questions. I wanted you to stop at 1, and we're 3 in now.
Please stop asking reasonable follow-up questions is also Perin's catchphrase.
Perin's always prepared to spit more bullshit, though. He's got no obligation to even give a half-truth. He just does all the time for fun.
One of my favorite, like, Black Dog interactions was you talking to fully a king of like Malahert and King Lot, and like him saying, I hate the idea of King Arthur and I'm gonna kill him if I can, and you going, that's exactly the kind of like right thinking go-getter attitude that I want on my team to put King Arthur on the throne.
It's true,
we'll see how
man.
you feel.
It's true, man. It's true.
All right. We are going. We're gonna move to back to Perin, who's now. And you know what? We're gonna kind of briefly. No, we're gonna stay relatively map free. I might go to the map just briefly to kind of recap things at the very end. But for now, we're gonna deal with your ride through Lambor and Bedegrain. Let's start with, actually, we're gonna kind of pick up on the border of Bedegrain. So what I need from you to begin with, Perin, is I need a battle roll, and I need to be relatively high. There's going to be a random contest against you here. Should you fail, your guys will end up in skirmishes that they don't want to be.
Oh, okay. May I impassion?
Yeah, absolutely.
I promise I won't abuse my homage Arthur too much, but he is playing a long game here, and all of this adds up.
And if you kill British knights to serve Britain.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation, all right?
It's meant to be. Yeah. Okay,
critical battle.
I'm not even going to contest it then. You credit. So you make it through Lambor using the edge of the Forest Sauvage, very carefully, the edge of the Forest Sauvage, as you ride through with little challenge. Breaking into the Lambor Plains, you skirt wide the Wales border, the Gales border, just to make sure that you don't end up in conflict with Cameliard, who border them. And you find yourselves north at the north border in Bedegrain. Now, last time, hold on, I don't even think Perin was in Bedegrain. That was actually Dallin who was in Bedegrain. This is where Dallin was wounded, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, when they had to pull the armor off. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So Bedegrain.
Which curse you?
The history of Bedegrain is they're kind of like one of those border lands between North England or North Logres, right? And Logres itself, or North England, let's say. North Britain, there we go. North Britain and Logres itself. So not the true north, not the area beyond, but it hovers in the same sort of lands as Malahut at times. And it's at previous times been its own sort of ruler. It had a king. Uther said, bend the knee. That king said no. Then Uther mounted up and killed that king. Found the king's cousin and put the king's cousin in as a count. And that's been their status as far as you're aware.
As you do.
Indeed, as you do. So as you make your way into Pendragon, you know it's a heavily forested land, which makes it harder to transverse, sort of easier to transverse for what you're doing, harder to transverse for an army, though. What are you looking for specifically? Anything specific? What is your goal here in Pendragon as eyes and ears?
I had a couple of ideas, but I think probably I should go with Occam's choice here, I think, and go with the simplest thing. I think he'll ride around and look for general troop movements, pick up, conversations in taverns about, what actually the state of leadership is like, and if possible, he'll kind of like, send a couple representatives to like barter for mercenary stuff, but with a ultimate goal of refusing the work, just to kind of see how desperate are they for mercenaries, what's their, whatever information he can gather through fairly underhanded means.
Yep. Give me an intrigue roll.
Oh, you spoil me. And my passion does not stand for this one. Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Bada bing.
Okay.
Could be better. Could be worse.
Okay. You hear some very interesting, and we'll start with a heraldry roll as well. See if you picked this up before you even got to the sending men around. Okay, no, you did not. You found this through sending men around.
I had wrong information that my agents corrected.
Yeah. Rather, you never got close enough to a castle probably to see these markings. You learn that Pendragon is in fact recruiting mercenaries. They're willing to pay double the amount you would expect a small area like Pendragon to be able to afford.
Interesting.
Continuing on your path, we'll get you to do another intrigue roll if you want to know more.
Would like to know more.
Okay, go ahead.
And my odds are better this time.
Okay. The Pendragon is who's recruiting these men, but it's not where all the funding's coming from. You learn that Pendragon has sworn fealty to Duke Corneus of Lindenpool. Uh-oh. I scared Liam so much he went robot. Is everyone going robot?
Indeed.
Or is that, yeah.
He's
All right, and we're back.
Duke Corneus.
Yeah,
Is that good? Is that better?
there we go. Well done. Well done.
Old man Corneus.
Yeah. So you learn that Bedegrain, as a whole, has sworn fealty to Corneus.
Well, shit. That's bad. Okay, let's find out more about Corneus if I can then. What last I heard, he retook a big swath of the Saxon shore and then lost it again. What's he been up to? Do I have any information on that? On his movements in general?
Yeah, because your goal has been to keep track of potential battles and outcomes. So that's all you've really been doing, right? So it makes sense that you would have that info.
Constant risk assessment, right?
Yeah. So if we follow the path of Corneus and what he's gone through, right before the Battle of Albans, to get to Albans, the Saxons from the north and Melha had to get through his lands to get to Albans.
Right.
And they completely sacked them and overthrew them. Corneus was believed to be dead. And it wasn't until the Saxons of Wessex landed and took over Hantone that it was revealed that he was alive and hiding in Hantone, or at least obscuring his presence in Hantone. Him and his knights rode north again, and on the way, they encountered an existing battle taking place at the border of Huntland. They decided to help the Cymry and charged into and overwhelmed those Saxons of Essex. As a result, the north part of Essex, which is Caerwent, the county of Caerwent, liberated itself. Not his doing directly. He was the catalyst. He created the opportunity. He defeated an army that had to go lick its wounds, and that gave the North County time to liberate itself. And it stayed liberated from Essex, but then the Angles came and took it back over. Corneus has been in the north ever since, kind of re-establishing himself in the county of Lindsey, in his duchy, really, because he's a duke. So he has county of Lindsey and the county of Lonazep as his own, and now apparently Bedegrain.
Huh. And that's pretty much directly north of Bedegrain, right? Or is it slightly to the...
I will show you on the map, because I talked about, hey, Halfling Wizard Prod, welcome in.
Hey, Halfling Wizard Prod.
1 sec. I will pull this up on the map, and we can do the thing. And I'll let the audience see this time.
Ah.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Bedegrain's here, and then think of Bedegrain as the northmost border, other than Lindsey. So it's kind of like Bedegrain and Lindsey. And then,
okay, this makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah. So Rostock, Maris are considered part of the north, not part of Logres.
Okay. Well, that's bad. That's escalating this from a pretty breezy conquest into something that's going to turn into a pretty prolonged thing. It's pretty valuable information, I think, for Nanteleod to have. Okay. Next thing that I would like to, and probably last thing I think I want to get. Where else, if Lindsey felt, sorry, if Cornelius thought that this was worth his full attention, he'd be here with troops. But he's not. Instead, he's giving funding for mercenaries for Bedegrain to defend itself. So his attention must be elsewhere. Where's his attention right now?
Would you like to investigate?
I would love to investigate.
How? Sending men to the borders, into his lands?
I don't think so on this one.
Okay.
I think instead, Percy's going to be a little bit more cautious in sending people into Lindsay, and instead I think he's going to find and hire some informants that aren't directly connected to him for it.
Okay. I will get you to give me an intrigue roll.
I'm shocked, and also hell yeah. Not great, but I mean it's living.
Okay.
Ugh. How dare he?
So you sent for so you hired some informants. You go to meet one of the informants in one of the taverns that you're working through, and a knight nondescript, dressed in banded armor, not in chain, more like mercenary armor, walks up and sits down beside you.
Ah. A pity. I trust that I'm not going to be meeting my scheduled appointment this evening, then.
He motions to his side, pulls a sack, kind of dyed and caked in dried red, about the size of a head, and sets it before you.
Even more so a pity. I'm afraid you might have killed a man that has very little meaning to me. Appreciate the gesture.
Nevertheless, he deserved what he had, as do all spies.
Well. Consider me sufficiently warned.
It's not you I wish to warn, Black Dog. It's King Nanteleod. Cornelius sits at the Pendragon border with his armies. He's prepared to fight to defend them.
I see. Well then. I suppose I could have saved money and a life on spies.
The Duke wishes you to know. Should you wish to change your loyalties, it will offer you and your men double whatever Nanteleod has paid you.
Oh. That's certainly a tempting offer. I don't suppose he'd be willing to meet or send a more official representative to negotiate such things.
I am his official representative, Black Dog.
You seem to be very good at your job. If you were able to not just catch those that I sent, but to find me to meet me here as well, and to have the good sense to try to have me on your side rather than his. How long will you give me to think about it? Discuss the position with my trusted men.
You have 2 days.
Can be arranged.
Everything I learned, Black Dog, I learned from my former master, Sir Arthur.
Wow. This just gets more and more interesting. You know...
Sorry,
Should
that was Bob dropping the wrong name. He said Sir Argan.
Oh. Argan.
I know that guy.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe I do see it now. He had exactly the same sense and tact. All right, lad. Though, not to immediately resend an offer in the same way that it was sent to me, but you would make a very fine addition to my crew. I don't think I can pay you what Corneus is, but I might be able to offer something better. Something that I don't think very many in this country can offer at all.
And what's that?
A little bit of purpose. A little bit of hope. And perhaps... a promise I can keep.
Hope died with Uther's son, Black Dog.
That's what many would think, yes. And yet, I carry on regardless. And the men that follow me, they carry on too. Perhaps hope is dead. But maybe, it's possible, that for as good as you are, there are some things that even you don't know. Consider it. And when all this is over, regardless of what side either of us end up making it on, if you live, and if I do, I would be happy to find you in my ranks.
Such a noble thought, he says as he stands up. And as he starts to walk away, he turns around and he says, "Oh, I forgot to ask. Are you from Gales? Why serve a foreign king?"
As I said, Sir Knight, sometimes there are things outside your view. Promise I can keep. Travel safe.
With that, he will depart. Okay, so what does the next 2 days look like for Percy?
Well, step one, I'm gonna have that guy tailed. Not for anything nefarious. In fact, I don't even mind if he catches the guys that are spying on him, but I want to follow him and keep an eye on him, keep tabs on him, if I can. Maybe even aid him, even if he's working against Nanteleod in certain ways, like have him fed minor information that's not going to be vital, but will keep him alive. The second thing is we're packing up and we're going south. We're going back to Nanteleod.
Okay. Give me a intrigue roll again.
Come on, good buddy. You're better than me, and that makes me want you. Come on, good buddy. All right, not great.
Okay.
Damn.
He didn't get a crit this time, though.
He did not get a crit this time.
One
And he
of
sends 3 heads back.
one of the scouts.
No!
One of the scouts returns. Only one. They did sight Cornelius's banners before they were ambushed. So they say there was definitely an army at the borders of Pendragon.
All right. We're going to keep trying. I want this guy to stay alive, and I want him to support it. So
You're gonna send that guy back?
But no, that guy, he did his job. He's good. He can move on to a different task.
Okay.
I just want to know what's going in on these mission briefings, which is basically, this guy's already eliminated 2 of our assets previously. I want you to follow him and help him out with the stuff that he's doing. If he discovers you, he might try and kill you. Just be professional.
Don't get caught.
Cost you in business, man.
This guy's really good at catching you. Also, don't get caught. Because even if you're working for him, working to aid him, he's not going to know that.
All
No,
right.
can't we tell him that we're aiding him? No, we need to have at least 3 different angles. We're working.
We can let him know that we're aiding him. That's fine.
All right, folks. With that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the episode. We'll do a quick
Hooray!
outro for everybody, and then we'll continue on with our next session. We'll start with Thomas.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I have played Sir Blethant, Bastard Child of Winterbourne Stoke, and Sir Edrich, Marshal of Salisbury, and regular Bastard of Winterbourne Stoke, but his parents were married. Yes, I am arthritic now, and I will never walk the same way again, but I'm free!
What
Gotta
about your
deal with
character?
those alabaster bastards before. Oh, I walk without a limp. My spine, however, will never be the same again. But yes, that's been me. All in all, I've been okay.
Indeed. Okay, we'll go to Mark next.
Hello, I've been Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, playing Sir Florence of Idmiston and the Barony of Axe. So far coming out of this, very great. I've done nothing but score victory after victory, and now I've got an heir to a barony in my barony. So it's fun. Other than that, I do some things on the side. I'm very, very close, very, very, very close to releasing a new vampire series set in the Dark Ages on the Isle of Man, and that shall be announced very, very soon with everything to do with that. Also, we have a Discord. Come check out our Discord. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna say, Mark, adding an extra very to that doesn't actually bring it to a current state.
I know, but I'm gonna
Xeno's,
keep it until I have it.
Yeah, we're gonna run.
it's Xeno's deadline.
We're gonna run out of the
Exactly.
maximum number of characters at some point in those varies.
It was an
That's very
educated
true.
wish.
Yeah, an educated wish. But yes, we have a Discord. Come check us out. Lots of fun stuff on there, such as announcements on whenever we go live, new projects we're doing, as well as a few other things that we do in the background. Come join us. Lots of fun. That's me.
Awesome. We'll go to Liam next.
Everybody, I'm Liam. I played Sir Perin and Sir Virgil today. No blood for me tonight, but that's all right. I got other stuff going on. I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm really looking forward. Are we back on next week, or are you guys doing Gentlemen of the List, or what's?
I don't remember the timing. We will figure that out and get back to
We'll
you.
double check. It'll be in the Discord,
Yeah.
so come check that out. And otherwise, we'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. All right, and I'm Bob. We do Pendragon 3 times a week. We do Salisbury on Sundays. We do a neighboring county of Summerlin to the west on Tuesdays. And then we do what we've talked about a lot today, the Kingdom of Escavalon on Fridays. So if you want to see a little bit more about the battle in Pendragon, you might want to check out the Friday coming up here. And if you want to just see wacky mayhem that's taking place in Summerlin right now, Tuesday is your night. We'll be back likely next Sunday. I have a feeling that AP had told us that we were like pushed back a week or two. / I don't remember if it's been fully 4 weeks yet. Anyways, so I think we're back with Salisbury next Sunday. But as Liam said, it was in the Discord. We have a modest number of followers, right? Or people in the chat right now. So we're going to just go ahead and close. No raid out tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Farewell.
Bye.